Thanks so much for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Ephraim Graham.
And I'm Charlene Aaron. Growing danger of Islam in the UK. The British government has announced that schools will be required to teach British values after Islamists took over several schools. Dale Hurd has the story from London.
It's been dubbed Operation Trojan Horse, an alleged plot to turn British faith-based schools into Muslim training academies.
Individuals with a religious motivation have taken public money and basically created madrasas, basically created religiously motivated schools that have promoted intolerance.
And this at a time when Britain was already in an uproar over the explosion of Muslim halal food in the nation's food supply. And after revelations that several predominantly Muslim sex gangs around Britain were using English girls as sex slaves. Whether it's food or schools, Islam is advancing in Britain. Islamists want to conquer the United Kingdom. Anne-Marie Waters runs Sharia Watch UK.
We have around 100 Sharia courts in this country. We're the only Western country with a functioning Sharia network of Sharia tribunals and councils. They're dealing with marriages, with divorce, even with criminal matters. They're marrying, as I said, they're marrying children.
And in Birmingham, with a large Muslim population, authorities say Islamists were turning schools into centers of extremism. In one school, the Muslim call to prayer was broadcast across the playground, and non-Muslim teachers were forced out.
In the most serious cases, a culture of fear and intimidation has taken grip since the schools were last inspected.
Britain's head of education told Parliament this will not happen again.
Schools that are proven to have failed will be taken over, put under new leadership and taken in a fresh, new direction.
That Muslims could take over several schools shows the growing influence of Islamic radicals in Britain. Dale Hurd, CBN News.
The House Armed Services Committee is investigating the Obama administration's exchange of 5 Taliban leaders for Sergeant Bo Bergdahl's release. Committee members announced that move Monday following a meeting with senior administration officials about the deal. In that meeting, the administration showed lawmakers the 90-second proof-of-life video that showed a debilitated Bergdahl. But that did little to calm the anger on both sides of the political aisle.
I think it's safe to say on both the Republican and Democrat side, people were extremely disappointed. They were underwhelmed at what was put forward. And also, I think there was a sense of anger that members of Congress didn't know about this.
A State Department spokesperson says the deal was not a secret or a surprise to Congress.
The Bergdahl family's former pastor is speaking out about the controversy surrounding his release and calling for mercy. Phil Proctor was interim pastor at the Bergdahl's church in Idaho. He is now the pastor of Sterling Presbyterian Church in Sterling, Virginia, and the Bergdahls stay with him when they visit D.C. Proctor told Christianity Today, "These are brothers and sisters in Christ. We can have political views on whether Bo should be in prison or whether Bob should say Arabic version of shalom, but to adopt the rhetoric of the day and use it to guide conversations among Christians about another self-professed Christian, I'm saddened by that." Proctor called on Christians to extend grace and to leave judgment to the courts.
Hillary Clinton is dismissing blame directed at her for the 2012 attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi. 4 Americans, including Ambassador Chris Stevens, died in that attack. In an interview with ABC's Diane Sawyer, the former Secretary of State said the constant Republican criticism of her handling of the situation gives her greater incentive to seek the White House. She says Congress should be more focused on problems facing the country and the world. Sawyers asked Clinton if she could have done anything more personally to prevent the attack.
I'm not equipped to sit and look at blueprints to determine where the blast walls need to be or where the reinforcements need to be. I take responsibility, but I was not making security decisions.
Clinton says she wants travel and help in the midterm election and then decide whether she will run for the White House.
President Obama's national security team is coming under fire. Some charge his top security advisors know more about campaigns than countries, and critics say they're putting our nation at risk. Jennifer Wishon has the story.
After the latest questions to plague the White House, many Americans are wondering, did the president know Sergeant Bo Bergdahl may have deserted his post? Was he warned about the national security implications of releasing 5 high-ranking Taliban operatives? And could his White House announcement with Bergdahl's parents have been a political smokescreen to reduce heat over the Veterans Affairs scandal? Some analysts place blame for the president's foreign policy problems at the feet of his National Security Council.
Under President Obama, we have about the most political National Security Council we've ever seen.
Paul Bonicelli worked closely with George W. Bush's team. Started by President Truman, the council is made up of the president, vice president, certain cabinet secretaries, top military brass and intelligence officials, along with the president's national security advisors, chief of staff, and other administration insiders. Its purpose? Advise the commander-in-chief on tough realities and offer loyal opposition on heavy decisions. But some suggest President Obama's council operates in constant campaign mode, more concerned about image than getting it right for the nation.
There are a number of folks at mid and high levels in the President Obama's National Security Council that have a lot of political experience, a lot of campaign experience. That's what they've spent more of their career doing.
Ben Rhodes is Deputy National Security Advisor. He began working with Obama as a speechwriter on his first presidential campaign. Tommy Vitor, who left last year as council spokesman, rose quickly through the ranks from his original post as a van driver for the campaign press corps. He recently made this gaffe on Fox News regarding the Benghazi terror attack.
Dude, this was like 2 years ago. We're still talking about the most mundane
it is the thing
process
that everybody is talking about.
According to Bonicelli, the Benghazi aftermath provides a perfect example of a politically driven foreign policy team.
The primary people who are supposed to be advising the president on national security when something like Benghazi happens are actually writing emails to everybody and say, blame it on a video. That's pure politics. That has nothing to do with national security.
Overall, Americans don't like what they see. A Washington Post ABC News poll finds just 41% approve of the president's handling of foreign policy. His first national security advisor, General James Jones, left after just 2 years, reportedly finding the politics unbearable. In a Wall Street Journal column focused on the Obama NSC, it's reported that former campaign manager and advisor David Plouffe was called at one point to help in discussing possible military involvement in Syria. Conversely, according to Bonicelli, the president's closest security advisors don't trust or have close relationships with the military.
Even Democrats agree there's a bubble around the president that I won, it's my way, and people need to get in line with it.
Over the past 6 years, the president's foreign policy team has worked hard to define its image abroad as the anti-Bush administration, taking the progressive position that the powerful U.S. should take a step back, allowing other international bodies or countries to take the lead, a strategy that's created a vacuum.
It leads to Vladimir Putin doing what he wants to do. It leads to the Chinese rattling sabers in the South China Sea. And so I don't expect a change over the next 2 years. I expect them to continue down this path, and we'll probably have a lot more of the bungling.
The president's trade of 5 Taliban fighters for Sergeant Bergdahl, Bonicelli believes, is the president signaling he intends to release all Gitmo detainees, a move that would help him make good on a 2008 campaign promise. Jennifer Wishon, CBN News, Washington.
More than 600 unaccompanied migrant children are being sent to a military base in Oklahoma. Most of the children being sent to Fort Sill for temporary housing are from Central American countries. Oklahoma Congressman Tom Cole calls the plan to relocate the children a breakdown that incentivizes illegal immigration. Arizona is also expecting hundreds of children this week. The state is already overwhelmed by approximately 700 kids who are staying in a warehouse. The number of unaccompanied minors who illegally entered the U.S. is expected to rise to 66,000 this year.
More devastating revelations about the scandal surrounding wait times at VA hospitals around the nation. A nationwide audit found that more than 57,000 veterans have been waiting at least 90 days for their first appointment at a VA hospital, and 64,000 more never received an appointment after requesting one. Even worse, 13% of schedulers at more than 700 hospitals say they were told by their supervisors to falsify records to make patient waits seem shorter. The audit is the first nationwide review of VA hospitals since the scandal surfaced. In a congressional hearing Tuesday, Tuesday night, a high-ranking VA official said there is a, quote, integrity issue among VA leaders and apologized to veterans and their families.
Sex crimes have increased in the last decade at American colleges and universities, according to a new federal report. The Education Department says more than 3,300 sex offenses were reported in 2011. That's a 50% increase from the 2,200 reported in 2001. However, the report says the number for overall campus crime has gone down.
The president is bypassing Congress and taking executive action yet again, this time on behalf of a potentially important midterm voting bloc. Mr. Obama announced that he'll allow millions more student loan borrowers to tap into the federal pay-as-you-earn program. Heather Sells has the latest.
In a 21st century economy, a higher education is the single best investment that you can make in yourselves and your future. And we've got to make sure that investment pays off.
The president's executive order opens up the pay-as-you-earn program, allowing potentially millions more young people to participate. The program limits payments on student debt to no more than 10% of monthly income. Student loan debt is a huge issue for many. Nationally, it's nearly $1 trillion, higher than car loans and even more than credit card debt.
I do 100%. Yeah, I'm funding it entirely through federal loans.
Young people made up an important part of the president's voting bloc in 2008 and 2012. But there's concern that they may not turn out for this year's midterm elections. Actions like this latest executive order could help, as could legislation that would let college grads with heavy debt refinance their loans. Critics say, however, that Obama is going too far in exercising his power. Executive actions in recent months include the Bergdahl deal that swapped an American soldier for 5 Taliban detainees, new restrictions on carbon emissions, and an increase in the minimum wage for workers under new federal contracts. Just who will pay for all the student debt relief is another concern. The refinance legislation would be funded by new taxes on some high-income individuals. Heather Sells, CBN News.
A Theology of Worship, the new program that blends Bible teaching and music to train worship leaders.
Pat Boone here with a word about bank safety. Do you think your money is safe in the bank? Don't bank on it. A generation ago, bank accounts felt secure and they paid interest. This encouraged the virtue of thrift and saving. But today, bank accounts pay virtually nothing, and they've shifted from low risk to high risk. For example, did you know your money deposited in most U.S. banks could be subject to limited withdrawal and even confiscation? Oh, yes. And that's just the first of 19 risks explained in a new white paper entitled Don't Bank on It. You still think your bank deposits are safe? You better get this vital new Don't Bank on It white paper now. Call the number on the screen or visit SwissAmerica.com, the gold standard. Learn how simple it is to become your own banker today.
Millions of Americans with an ostomy live their lives to the fullest every day. And over the last 10 years, thousands have chosen Liberator Medical as their caring and reliable resource for ostomy supplies. Liberator Medical is a nationally accredited Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance provider, so we can handle all your Medicare, Medicaid, and insurance paperwork and billing. And Liberator Medical has been chosen as a preferred supplier by all the leading ostomy manufacturers, including Coloplast, Hollister, Convatec, and Generics. We supply all these leading ostomy brands, so you can always get the ostomy supplies and accessories you want and trust. And all of our ostomy care specialists are product certified by the manufacturers. Shipping is free and discreetly delivered right to your door. Unhappy with your present ostomy supplier? Call Liberator Medical and ask about our free ostomy sampling program. We also offer catheters and urological supplies.
Call 1-800-513-3076. That's 1-800-513-3076.
The police officer in Salt Lake City who was placed on leave for reportedly refusing to work at a gay parade says he didn't actually refuse the assignment. The unnamed officer says he had only asked to be taken off the motor team that leads the parade. He says he didn't want to appear to be supporting gay pride because of his personal and religious beliefs. His attorney, Brett Rawson, says he never refused to work at the parade. The officer simply requested to be reassigned to a different duty there. Rawson says the police department defamed the officer when they made inaccurate comments about the situation.
The Christian owner of a Colorado bakery has been ordered to take sensitivity training because he refused to bake a wedding cake for a gay couple. Jack Phillips, the owner of Masterpiece Cake Shop, was also told the bakery doesn't have a choice. It must make cakes for same-sex weddings if asked. The American Family Association says the sensitivity training, quote, violates religious freedom and is eerily similar to communist states. Phillips says same-sex marriage goes against his religious beliefs. Also, same-sex marriage is still illegal in Colorado. Still, for the next 2 years, Phillips will be forced to submit quarterly reports to the government, confirming he has not refused any couples based on sexual orientation.
Well, music has a special place in delivering the gospel. That's why Grand Canyon University is starting a new program to train worship leaders. Bart Miller is founder of the Christian contemporary band Mercy Me. He's also the director of the new Center for Worship Arts at GCU. Recently, he spoke with us about his revolutionary new program. Bart, this program combines spirituality and the arts as part of a bachelor's degree in ministry. Why is that so important?
Well, I think it's crucial to equip the student in any way possible to one, make them better at their craft. But I think that the worship leaders a lot of times are pigeonholed. If you have good hair and no 3 chords, you can have a job be a worship leader at a local church, and that's kind of a scary place to be for such a big calling. And so instead of some students avoiding college altogether because they feel called into music, or using college as a backup plan for when this may fail, it's like this novel idea of equipping them to go after their calling.
Well, what skills will students gain from this program?
For me, I guess the best way to put it is, I've been in Mercy for 20 years, and I was one of those that bypassed college because I wanted to be in a band. And there are things that I've learned over the last 20 years that if I would have known when I was 18 or 19 would have set me apart pretty quickly. And so that's what we want to do. Our biggest goal is to allow these students to find their purpose and to know their calling, and to say, look, we're not here to deter you to say, hey, be an accountant if it doesn't work out. Man, if you're called to do this, then we want to make you as strong as possible in what you're called to do.
And how will churches benefit from these new worship leaders?
We just want students that understand the word, and understand what the message is they're relaying. It's kind of I call it the 3-headed monster. The Center for Worship Arts is part fine arts, part business, but with an emphasis on theology. And so the bachelor's comes out of the theology department, which I think is crucial because from experience, that may be one of the weakest parts of a worship leader is, there's the old joke that we're too busy carrying our guitar to carry our Bible. And that's that's a sad place to be. And we want to change that. We don't want a pastor to look at a worship leader as if they're an intern and not a big deal. You're talking about the role of ushering in the body of Christ through worship to prepare them to hear the word of God being preached. It sounds like a pretty lofty job, and we want it to be taken seriously. And we want these students to come out not only equipped to do it, but with the confidence and the respect to know this is a huge calling. I think it's Spurgeon that said, when God calls you to preach or God calls you to serve, never stoop to be a king. This is a massive calling. We want them to take it seriously, but then also be incredibly passionate about what they're called to do.
Very important indeed. Bart Miller, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Up next, a former felon faces the harsh reality of life on the outside. See how this ex-offender gets a fresh start.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
A new report says increasing number of prison inmates nationwide are not getting the supervision and help they need after release. The report released by the Pew Charitable Trust says former inmates need more help to lead crime-free lives once they leave prison. In Florida, Maine, and Massachusetts, more than 40% of released inmates did not get supervision in 2012.
Well, every year, more than 700,000 people are released from state and federal prisons. For many, adjusting to life on the outside is tough. Finding a job is the hardest task for a lot of ex-cons. That's why one man has made it his mission to help former felons start their own businesses.
Sean Collins Harris once dreamed of traveling the world as a motivational speaker. In college, that all changed when he got caught up with the wrong crowd and started selling drugs.
I wanted to make money. At the same time, I wanted to make quick money.
That desire eventually landed him behind bars.
I was sentenced to 5 years in the state penitentiary for possession with intent to distribute more than 5 pounds of more marijuana while in possession of a firearm.
After serving his time, he ran into a familiar problem, his record.
You got to put food on the table. You got to provide for a household. How are you going to handle these responsibilities when people are afraid of you because you're a convicted felon? They've been told not to hire convicted felons.
Dr. Tokes Edo sees it all too often. After taking part in his church's prison ministry, Dr. Edo noticed a trend among prisoners re-entering society.
As it got close to the time of the men's release, a lot of them became apprehensive. I found out that a lot of them didn't want to go back to the same old neighborhoods. They didn't want to go back to the same guys they hung out with.
When you get so many doors closed in your face, what is there left to do? Like, what can you do? I had a child, I have a wife, so it was either one or two things. Go back to what it is that I knew how to do, because trust me, that same old gang was there.
For that reason, Dr. Edo created Leadership Call, an organization helping remove barriers for ex-offenders across Virginia.
Unfortunately, most of these men have been given a bad rap. They've already paid their dues by going to prison. They don't have to keep on paying when they get out.
Leadership Call helps participants tear down negative mindsets while discovering their strengths and abilities.
All we're trying to do is find out what it is that God has deposited in each individual and help them tap into that to become self-governed.
One method is by helping ex-offenders start their own businesses. Dr. Edo uses his experience as a consultant and defense contractor to get the ball rolling.
I'm a free market capitalist. I'm a firm believer in business. I mean, you know, it's huge. Gosh, if there's one thing that works well, it's a free market. So I've seen that work tremendously well with the men. We have about an 85% rate of success.
Sean became a Christian while in prison, then went on to be one of the program's success stories.
I borrowed a lawnmower from my grandfather. Went and borrowed a pressure washer from my wife's aunt. Now I own 3 pressure washers. Now I own 7 lawnmowers, trailers, and equipment, and run my own lawn care business. I have subcontractors under me that do roofing and all type of handyman services.
29-year-old gang member Mike Taylor faced an 8-year prison sentence for robbery. Before giving his life to Christ, Taylor felt he had a death wish after seeing so many friends killed in the streets.
I was ready for whatever. You know, if I would have got shot and died right then I wouldn't have cared. And if I woke up tomorrow, I wouldn't have cared.
Now he cares about the plans for his new T-shirt business and nonprofit organization, thanks to the program's biblical principles and discipleship. That will help him to do good in the communities where he once did so much bad.
I'm not worried about the money. I'm just worried about, making a difference when I leave here. I just want to leave a great legacy that's going to last future generations.
Dr. Ito says when inmates complete their 12-month participation in Leadership Call, the outcome is renewed hope and transformed lives.
It's sad we recycle everything. The only thing we don't recycle is human capital. I mean, think about it. Created in God's image, but we dump it, we trash it, and just, let it go. So in a way, I'm in the recycling business, but it's awesome to see when they get it and they run with a vision.
I'm just giving God the glory for everything that he's doing and just standing in awe and can't wait to see what he's going to do next.
And programs like this are so absolutely important. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? Hi, I'm George Foreman. People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can provide patent referrals and submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-461-9290. That's 1-800-461-9290.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
And finally today, CBN's daily Hindi Language 700 Club program recently reached an audience 230,000.
The show airs on a major national network in India. That episode dealt with the issues of hopelessness and abuse. This year, the Prayer Center has handled 4,000 phone calls and 1,600 text messages each month. One viewer sent a text that read, "My parents were estranged for the past 3 years. Since we began watching the show and joined a prayer group, the Lord has blessed us. My parents are talking to each other again, and I'm recovering from my illness."
Praise God for that. That's it for today.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Make it a terrific Tuesday, everybody.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Every day, people are connecting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now you can be part of the conversation and connect on topics you care about through 700 Club Interactive. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, or go to YouTube and share your opinions, your prayer requests, and your videos while making friends in our community.
Well, welcome to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. 700 Club Interactive. Be a part of the show.